I'm good at many things. I read lots of books, and I take that book knowledge and I use it in my daily life. I am talented in many ways.
Drunk not read too many words.
I can tell.
I know how to count coin.
That's a very good skill for you right there, gentlemen. But I'm guessing you guys have an issue with some sort of illegal activity or place of ill repute, and you're trying to figure out the best course of action. Am I correct?
Yeah, well, see, Drung here. By the way, my name's Pockets. But Drung here wants to break down the door, and I'm wondering if maybe perhaps talking our way, at least inside it first, might be the better action before we take them to task.
I see. So basically, the choice is surprise all of them or get inside, then surprise them.
Yes.
What do we know about this place? Do they have, let's say, a reinforced door? Or do they know any of you two gentlemen?
I've heard them in passing, but I haven't quite had much interaction with them myself.
Real quick, everybody make a perception check for me, please. And thank you.
John, if you could roll mine, because I had to...
Yeah, one moment. Then I'll just use your passive, which is low. Cool.
Ugh.
All right. Pockets, you're used to seeing this kind of thing, so your eyes are kind of wary to it. You see that you're being watched by 3 individuals who are trying to remain kind of not seen. The first individual you see that's kind of watching you, you recognize as one of the toughs that were in the back corner or up around a table when you went into the Stumbling Delver. So you're pretty certain, just based on recognizing him and where you saw him, he's one of the Mardigans. So,
what's a Mardigan?
The Mardigan. Oh wait, who's asking? Is that Pockets?
Eli.
Oh, Eli. So your character wouldn't know, but out of character, it's a family of thieves, basically. Are
they connected to the drug trade?
No, this one's actually they're the good folks.
Good thieves.
But again, that's out of character information. He'll relay it if he wants to. That's again, this is for Pockets.
Trying to catch up into the world.
No problem, and absolutely good questions. I'm not trying to I'm not trying to be dismissive. I was just trying to make sure.
No, I get it. Don't worry, it's fine.
Fair enough. The other 2, one of them is a human who's wearing kind of black robes, and he's staying kind of close to what you see as a humanoid, but when you get a closer look at him and just kind of a quick eye, like side glance, you notice that he has a beak extending out of his hood. They notice that you notice them, and they start kind of moving away towards another alleyway across the kind of courtyard or crossroads that you're at.
Did I see anything besides the beak?
No, you saw black robes on the 2 of them. You're certain that one was kind of like an older or middle-aged human, and then the other one was a humanoid with a black beak extending out of its hood.
Well, fellas, if I realize now that my upbringing in the stealthy arts probably should have given me a better idea that maybe we should, if we are to discuss this not so out and open, but more in a corner, we have been noticed. And I sort of like, without making it too obvious, and give them whatever clocks wouldn't necessarily, whatever cardinal direction the 2 hooded individuals were and which way they're going.
Okay. Are you doing so with a gesture, or are you doing so trying to do it like subtly through like can't, like hoping that they can insight what you mean?
I would give just sort of like sort of in a loud talking normally, just like then slip into like hushed tones as I'm trying to deliver them in a stealthy way, like they're in this direction heading this way. but like then carrying a conversation on top of it to try and cover for it.
So not quite can't, more of a I'm trying to distract you from what I'm really saying by saying the things I want to say quietly and saying big things loudly. Got it.
Yes.
Classic. Okay. You see that once you kind of start having that dialogue, the two black cloaked figures kind of enter their alleyway and kind of fall into shadows. It's probably about mid-afternoon or late early evening at this point. The other individual kind of sees you, kind of like looks at you and gives you kind of like a nod, and then like starts gesturing for you to come to him in a canty way, like using Argot to gesture you over.
Okay. And then upon seeing that, I mentioned to them, if you wouldn't excuse me for a moment, it may be a bad idea, maybe a good idea, but those two individuals went down that alleyway over there. I have now lost sight, but I must go relieve myself.
Oh, plebeians.
Okay. Yeah, he kind of just walks away. You two are kind of still kind of looking at each other, just having met. So feel free to kind of, type that discussion in the text chat, or we'll let you have it here in a second. I'm just going to get the pockets here real quick as he approaches this thief. He kind of, once he gets over there, he's talking you two are talking in basically a way that it can be kind of cloaked from anybody who's listening in, using the thieves' cant, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And he lets you know that they've been seeing a lot of black plume activity in this area, and he knows that you and your friends were asking about it in the Delver when you stopped in last time, and he's pretty certain that they're somewhere around here, but he's not sure. And it doesn't, from the way he's talking, it doesn't sound like he saw the two that you saw.
Okay. Again, speaking of Thieves' Camp, I mentioned that not, I guess, explaining to him that, like, not knowing what they look like, I did notice two black cloaked individuals, one human, one humanoid with a beak sticking out, and they sort of like tell him what alley they went into and where I lost sight of them.
Well, he eventually gets to a point where he introduces himself. He says, "My name's Strawn, and I'm a low-level member, a cousin of the Mardigan family. If you want some help with this, I can definitely assist. I'm not going to ask you for any cut in that, but if you don't want Mardigan participation, I completely understand."
Well, as I was seeing this as potentially my formal induction. If you are willing to help, I would gladly appreciate it. But if you think that might show poorly upon my abilities, then I would prefer to go alone with the company I have, as I am trying to earn your family's respect and acceptance.
He says in response, "Much like those we seek, birds of a feather flock together." And basically in Kent, he's basically relaying that the Mardigan family, above all things, cooperation is the thing that they value most.
Well, then I would be much obliged if you would come along, and I shall introduce you to my compatriots if you want to be in the open, or if you care to... Oh gosh, what words am I trying to say? If you care to offer aid from the chateaus, I would respect that as well.
He nods. He says, "No, that's fine. I'll come meet them."
So I head over back to Drung and Eli and say, hello, friends. I've while I was taking a piss, I met this gentleman over here who we just got to talking, and his name's Strom, and he offered a hand in dealing with these black plume fellows.
Do you normally meet people while taking a piss?
Well, sometimes for jolly conversation. Sometimes I get cracked over the head because my hands wander, but you never know.
All right. This is going to be an interesting association, I could tell.
So Strahn's wearing kind of like typical what you would consider bandit garb. To be sure, he looks like a surly fellow, and he's got like a pencil mustache, and he's kind of looking you up and down as he meets you, and he kind of nods his head and he says, "You've been playing around here, haven't you?"
Not that much. I raised some coin out for my research, but it works. Gotta pay the bills.
Well, if you're looking for a good audience, I suggest you stop by the Delver. And then he looks over at Pockets and he gives him a wink. And if you would like to try and figure out what that means, you can roll an insight check. Otherwise, you can just leave that one where it's at.
Inside.
So you're pretty sure that the connotation there is that he didn't just meet the gentleman while he was taking a piss. They seem to know each other pretty well. And based on your assumption of this man's garb and just the kind of nature of the gentleman Pockets, you're pretty sure that they're probably bandits of some sort, of thieves. You don't think that there was anything malicious there. You think it's more of like if he's your friend, then we'll kind of, take him in and give him a job.
I see.
Yep. Again, low DC, not being subtle. You don't just up and wink in front of somebody. I'm sure we're laying a specific message.
Before you said that whole thing, I thought it was in a place where people of certain persuasion can meet other people of certain persuasion.
Right. So, kind of yes.
All right. So it works for both. Because the Thieves Guild doesn't care.
Right.
All right.
Drung, you're kind of idly kind of standing there as these people talk, and you did get a kind of a point in a direction towards that alleyway, and you're kind of looking over there like, that's where we should go. Because that's where they said they went, right?
Right.
So what do you do?
I think Drunk think we go down alley. Yeah, that way.
All right. Oh, by the way, when you guys were off doing this thing, I suggested to Drunk that I go in as a buyer, and Drunk could be like my muscle.
Sounds good.
I put in the text box.
Okay, sounds good. That would be a good idea. You guys are going to go down the alleyway and try and investigate to see if you can't see where they might have gone.
All right.
Okay. That said, it's kind of a narrow alleyway, probably about 5 foot wide. So kind of a marching order. And there's like barred and like wood shuttered windows all along the walls of the two buildings you're kind of moving between. And there's a couple of back doors to establishments. One building that you're kind of coming up to that's kind of in the middle of the alleyway is kind of a larger building made out of stone, and it has an old wooden door kind of jutting out from the stone wall. Standing outside that door, kind of near it to the side, is a cloaked individual. And Pockets, you'd recognize him either as that same guy that you saw before, or a guy that looks almost exactly like him.
I try to subtly give Eli a nudge and nod, sort of in the direction of the hooded figure.
By the way, character name Melech, if you care.
Okay, so you would have introduced it. You would have introduced yourself, because speaking is hard sometimes, and so they would know you. And then again, it's Drung for the half orc, and Pockets for the human, and Strawn for the NPC.
Got it.
Oh, what did you say your bard's name was?
Melech.
Spell that real quick. Okay. you.
So it's kind of got a throatier end portion, Melech.
I see through, and
Yep.
I can do it easily.
Right. Just making sure everyone understands it's not Melich or Melech. Right.
Melech.
Right.
Mecha like a high, mecha hiney ho.
Hey, come on now. That's uncalled for. Chris Edwards, you Western or Midwesterner. Okay, so then alleyway, door, guy. There's also a light on the opposite side on the wall. This is kind of a dark alleyway. There's like a lot of eaves overhead and such. It's also kind of a damp stone, like cobblestone at your feet. And then just the guy up ahead, nobody else passing through this alleyway. So before you approach in, of course, decide on your marching order. And it sounds like the plan of attack is Drung as a guard for Melech.
So, I mean, to me, it sounds like either Drung or Melech would be first,
We'll
potentially.
get used to it.
I would probably go third in the order, no matter
Okay.
what, then.
Okay, and then Sean will hold out the back. That's fine. Okay, so
Sorry.
as you guys approach,
Well, I
Go
have
ahead.
a question. Are you hanging back, Pockets? Are you hanging back just like a little bit from us, or are you walking like directly behind? I'm just trying to get it in my head.
In my head, I was thinking that if the plan was for him to be the buyer, what would make him look more influential than to have multiple guards? So I'm sort of like, where you're definitely Mr. Big and Beefy, I'm Mr. Slightly more slendery muscle guy, and I sort of like am slinking behind, but not like trying to hide my presence. It's just like I'm the guy that looks out for things or something, where you're
Okay.
the big intimidation.
All right.
Like, I'm definitely not hiding my presence. I'm seen, but yeah, there might be some gap. It's just like the trying to play our roles in a sense.
gotcha. Okay, so the approacher, the lead approacher would be Mel. So as you kind of head up to this guy, he kind of turns to look at you, and he kind of gives you a look. Seems like he's waiting for some sort of sign.
A sign, huh? Well, I look at him dead in the eye. I kind of project my voice a little bit, and I said, I'm here to make a purchase. Are you the one that I need to talk to, or should I talk to your boss?
He starts putting his hand up and kind of like gesturing it down, like for you to keep it down. And he kind of then gestures for you to come towards him.
All right, I go towards him.
The hell are you doing?
I'm a very upfront and in your face kind of guy. I don't like
Who sent you over here?
myself. I work for myself. I don't have people sending me anywhere.
I mean, you work for yourself. Are you just here to pick up the item?
I'm here to make a purchase.
Well, we're not doing that anymore. The flesh thief got busted. You would overhear that. I don't know if you've been paying attention to current events or not.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm studying for the bar.
Again, you're going to get doused with a bunch of nonsense. Bear with me. But he kind of says, we're not doing that anymore. Or do you mean, are you here for a pickup?
Yeah, pickup.
Okay. Well, that's different.
All right.
He kind of looks at you. Hold on a second. I'll go check with Quextol see if he's okay with this. I wasn't informed that there was going to be anybody. And he starts moving towards the door. Based on your just perception of the door from this vantage, it looks like it's a pretty sturdy door with reinforced iron fittings, and it looks like it has several locks in its door handle. And he kind of moves towards the door and knocks on it in a very specific way. As he does so, the door is clicked open, and the door is opened to him. And he says, "Wait here."
Are we within an earshot of that? Of what
You
the knock sounds?
You certainly are, because you're just right behind him. So at this stage, basically, I'm going to describe it to you. He's going into the house or into this building, and it looks like he's going to shut the door behind him, and it's going to be locked therein. So I'm going to just go from the front to the back and describe what the situation is and ask you if you are reacting in any way. So to you, Eli, that's exactly what you see. It's exactly how it's going down. You're pretty sure that he's going to, if allowed to go inside, they're basically going to find out that there was nobody here to, come pick up anything, and they're going to, probably not let you in. So do you want to do anything at this stage?
I lean back against the wall and I motion to Drung to take the lead.
Got it. Drung, you are directly behind him. You can definitely see an opening. And you could probably push past him, get into the door, and possibly push him back out into the alleyway. There's also the option of just killing him outright, but there's another guy on the other side because he was let in. So what would you like to do?
Could I put him in like a chokehold and pull him away from the door?
Again, so one more time. There's the guy going into the door, and there's a guy behind the door. If you grab the one guy, the other guy will probably just shut the door and lock it, based on what you can see. So I'm asking you.
I'll bull rush him.
Okay. All right. And then pockets. This is going to go a couple of ways, but you'll basically see it. So we'll get to you immediately after what happens with Drung. Drung, go ahead and make me an athletics check. Okay. All right. That should do. Bear with me here. Yeah. So he is gonna. Why is this not loading? Sorry, hold on.
I believe the term is Holy Naked Jesus.
It's a damn good roll. But he tries to dodge aside. He fails to do so. And you're wanting to push him into the building or pull him out and get into his position in the doorway?
I want to push him into the building.
Okay. So he, once pushed in, you realize that there's maybe like a 2-foot clearance behind the door and then just a series of stairs straight down. And you push him and he goes tumbling into the stairwell. The stairs are solid stone and sharp at their edges, and you hear sickening cracks, and you can see splatters of blood coming out from the robe as he tumbles down about 20 feet into the basement of the building. The other guy standing there, just near you, kind of like looks at you with confusion and then malice, and is standing like just to the side of the door, as there's like a small little like cubby hole for him to kind of stand, and there's also a stool behind him to sit as he sits on guard duty. So he's kind of standing up, and it looks like he's reaching for the handle of some sort of weapon at his belt. Okay, in response to that, Pockets, you see that go down. You could easily move up to the door with a dash, but you couldn't get into the door or do anything besides that, or you can stay back.
Because there's some kind of bottleneck currently, I would probably just use it in terms of mechanical terms, like just a movement and oh gosh, what would I do? And then ready. I would use my movement to approach, but still within like it'll take like one more movement to get to the door, and I ready my dagger. My dagger named Selena Stiletto and my shield.
Nice. All right. Should be tokens on the board. And do me a kindness and roll initiative. So, just so everybody has it, the bard backed away, gestured for Drung to move in. Drung moved in, pushed the guy, and you heard him basically splatter down the steps. And then Pockets moved up to about maybe 20 feet behind Drung at the door and is prepared to move in if necessary. Okay. Got it. All right. Descending order, and that would put Eli on the top, and it looks like the acolyte behind the door is on deck. So you've seen the scene as it's been described. What do you do? Okay, you move around to be able to see into the door and berate him.
Hold on 1 second.
Sure.
Open. No, the tree. Open the tree. Move it away.
Okay, yes. I go and insult the guard by saying he is so slow, my dead and buried grandmother moves faster than he does.
All right. He seems made of sterner stuff than most people you've talked down to, and he's afraid, to be sure. But actually, because of his fear of his friend being, I'm going to give him disadvantage on that check. Yeah, he definitely seems a bit concerned and berated. Okay, it'll go to him. He is going to, I guess weeping is not an option. I guess I could do it while I'm doing other things. It's fine. He draws the weapon that you saw him reaching for. And it's a club, just a simple club with a pretty nice looking handle. He's going to cast a spell, though, after he draws it. Yeah. He's going to target himself and kind of just stand there and hold his club in kind of fear. All right. And immediately after he does that, he yells down the stairs, "Tell the boss!" And you hear what sounds like a person just down the steps, not the guy you can see splattered down there, but someone else getting up and moving. All right. It doesn't sound like they've exited that room, though, to you, Drung and Milik. So it goes to Pockets.
Okay, I guess I approach the final 20 feet. Or I guess I approach... can I see the stairs at this point from where I'm at, or do you move closer?
Yeah, so you can kind of get in to position in the same square as Drung. Drung's basically in the doorway. And if you want, you can either descend down, or you can stand in the doorway and attempt to attack the guy in the little cubby hole.
So does there look like there's any doorway into the cubby hole, or was he shouting just straight down the stairs where the guy fell to his death?
So he was shouting down the stairs, and it sounds like you wouldn't have heard that motion, but it sounded like he was yelling down the stairs.
Okay. And if from where I'm at, if I look down the stairs, did you say I see a door down there?
You don't see a door. You just see kind of like the body laying down at the bottom and what you think might be lantern light and shadows kind of moving about.
Oh gosh, I don't know what to do. I mean, I don't think feasibly I can actually reach this guy with a dagger through a cubby hole.
Basically, you can either step in and attack him and then back out, or you can go down the steps, dashing down the steps to try and find the other person.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna run after the person. I'll just run down the steps.
Did your screen change?
Yes.
Okay, hold on. You make it to there.
Okay. And that was my action, correct?
That would have been dashing, correct?
Okay. So with no movement left, I just sort of stand there waiting to see what happens, shield and dagger at the ready.
Okay, perfect.
And I probably shout out to him, "Oh, I wouldn't do that if I were you."
Okay. Strawn is going to stay back. You see that he does draw 2 daggers and kind of looks like he's ready to kind of dart in and attack, but he's holding himself back. Okay. Drung, guy in the cubbyhole, or follow pockets down.
I'm gonna pull out Flesh Rend and take a swing at the guy in the cubbyhole.
Make a wisdom saving throw.
Wham!
Nailed it. So feel free to butcher him if you'd like.
Bam! Or not.
That will hit. And that will kill. He doesn't seem to be wearing any armor. So yeah, you cleave him down. You still have your movement. You can make it about halfway down the steps.
I'll go down the stairs.
Okay. And that would lead back up to the top. Eli, you're up.
All right. I guess there's nothing for me up here anymore. I decide to go down the stairs.
Okay. So you can either move down cautiously and kind of stay behind Drung. You won't be able to see anything at the end of that movement, or you can dash down like Pockets did. Your call.
I don't want to use my action to dash. I want to go down my full movement speed.
Okay. So you'll be right behind Drung at the steps.
And I want to ready an action. If I see a enemy, I will insult it viciously.
Okay, perfect. All right. Bear with me here while I set up the map a bit. All right. Should have everybody on there. Just do me a favor and tell me if you can see the map in the top left corner.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. So bear with me one more time. Just gonna do some fixins.
Oh, cool.
Whoa.
There it goes. All right. So, the Acolyte will move to here. Once it gets to the door, this would actually trigger the readied action. So you would see this cloaked figure rushing towards the door. Feel free to just drop your spell so I can roll a saving throw.
I'm sorry, say it again.
He came into your sight line, so mock away.
I said, man, you so ugly. You fell down the ugly tree and hit every branch on the way down.
Also, you're probably not even good at opening doors. He takes the damage, and he does manage to get the door opened, however, and he'll go through it. Take an opportunity attack. Their pockets.
All right. Oh, okay. Selena Stiletto.
Yeah, you hit, and it goes right
one away
through.
from a crit.
It goes right through his back. You can hear it scrape against the bones as it enters his back, and he kind of just falls off to the side. You notice that he didn't just open the door. It's not like it was left unlocked. It looks like he reached into his pocket, pulled out a keyring, and then put the key in the hole and used his action to unlock it, and then went through, or tried to. And he kind of falls to the ground there with a big hole in his back. Next on the initiative docket would be you.
I go up and I pilfer his body of any coin purse, any significant looking item like rings or whatnot, and especially the keys.
So as an action, because of just the time they're in, because we're still technically in combat, kinda, not really though, you'd be able to grab the keyring and like his coin purse, not counting it at all. But it doesn't. To you, it doesn't look like he has anything else on him. Okay. All right, it'll go to
keys.
Yes.
Strawn up top, and he'll come downstairs. He will dash, more of like just nimbly and. Go
I want to
recognize.
tell you that the screen is black for me.
Oh, hold on.
He doesn't have light, does he?
He does not. I just made his token right beforehand. There you go. You should have it now.
All right. Let's.
Top left corner there.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh, there.
Okay. Cool. Strawn will kind of just nimbly and gracefully rush down the steps to kind of stand in the middle of the room. He has his 2 daggers, and when he sees there's nothing to fight, he kind of just puts them back in their sheaths.
Sure.
Mel? It does look like combat's concluded, so if you want to kind of drop out of it, we can before the next round starts, unless you want to kind of charge off forward anywhere in any directions. So we'll go ahead and drop out. And you have 2 passageways. There's the doorway that you just opened, and there's a passageway to the east.
I turn and I give Strawn a wink in that, aha, I took care of him.
So, which way would you like to go?
As much as my curiosity would like me to go down the path he wasn't traveling, I think this might be the direction we would like to take. Alonzi?
You lead, drunk follow.
All right.
Okay. Come around the elbow there, and you can see that there's another door. This one also has kind of a door with a lock on it as well. It looks like the lock is pretty much the same styling as the one from the door before. This one has a mark overhead over the keyhole that bears a very similar resemblance to the one that was on the last door, and also on the head of the key that you saw him put into the keyhole.
Because I don't want to be foolish, can I check for traps along this corridor quickly?
Sure, but make me a perception check, not an investigation check.
Oh, thank God.
So as you kind of like just move forward, you kind of stop for a second just before you get like even into the hall. You hear that there are sounds of people laughing and talking on the other side of that door.
Okay. I turn back and say, when I open the door, Drog, I want you to run in with the most bloodthirsty sow you can, because there's plenty of men that need killing over there.
Okay.
You got the plan?
So, you just want me to run, like, bull rush the door, right?
I'm gonna open up the door, and then the idea is you just rush in and I come in after you. We just start slaughtering everyone.
I'm down.
Okay. Strong kind of looks at you guys, nodding his head.
So I move up to the door and get ready to open it.
Stealth check. Okay. Doesn't sound like they've stopped talking or laughing on the other side. As you kind of get to the door, though, and like listen a bit more, make an insight check. It sounds like the laughing is very fake, like people are kind of forced laughing, and the conversation that's being had are just gibberish words. Like they're not saying sentences. They're just saying like, so like Pop-Tart, fish stick,
rhubarb,
town, and then
I hold up my hand to Drung, like wait, without saying anything, and I motion him to go back.
Watermelon. Yeah, sure. That could be something that they have said. But the words
How now, brown cow?
How now, brown? Well, that seems to have rhyme or reason. So it'd be cow brown. How cow now? or something random. Like, it doesn't seem there's any rhyme or reason in the words that they're saying, but every so often when a word is said, they start laughing.
And I wouldn't necessarily be able to determine if this was some kind of cant that I just don't know.
With that insight check, what you would realize is the people on the other side are either insane
or they're just trying to make it sound like they don't know we're there.
Or no, that's certainly not it.
Or they're on drugs.
Or they're on drugs.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, if that's the case, then I don't motion to go away and say, all right, I think this would be easy.
Wait,
So-
real quick, would we be able to tell how many like different voices we'd be able to hear, like distinct?
So, Drunk, if you're moving up to the door and kind of getting in there to try and listen, I need you to make a stealth check.
Not really. I might need it. Actually, yes, you can. Let me show you which one.
Okay, so as Drunk kind of approaches up and is trying to like listen, he's like, "How many are there?" It's kind of more of a, "How many are there?" All the voices stop laughing and talking.
I fling open the door.
Okay.
This is so bad.
I know.
That's a shit show.
Pockets. Once the door's flung open, you see what look like a bunch of men at arms, and they all kind of have like similar looks to them, just random guys. But the thing that you notice most, that kind of makes you go, "Oh," is that each one of them is wearing a black iron crown on their head.
Oh, and I vaguely remember this from the mansion, right?
Yep, but I believe the effort was Drung's running in to slash somebody. There's a dude right in front of you, so if you'd like to take a surprise round, feel free.
Yeah, I'm just gonna stab this guy. The better to get this over with.
The guy on this side of the door.
Yeah, right here. That way, yeah, less danger
This
for
one?
Drunk. Yeah.
That's the one he's stabbing.
Stiletto.
Okay, and sneak attack as well, but it won't matter. That one's fine. Basically, you see him; he's kind of looking at you with like just hollow eyes, and you kind of like go, "Oh!" and then you just rush forward with the stiletto, stab him in the throat. Blood starts splattering out at you, and he slumps down to the ground. As he's slumping down to the ground, his face goes from a blank expression to a look of horror and terror as he realizes he's dying. And he doesn't understand why. Drung, you said you were rushing in, so feel free to move in and attack one if you'd like.
Yeah, the one on the east side of me.
Make your attack. Yeah, you hit him. You put a really large rent in him. Roll me a D100. Okay. Yeah, you put a big rent right in his chest. He's bleeding, and he's looking at you with just like a stoic, static, just emotionless face. The others are all kind of focusing in on you at this point. Eli, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so your two fighters would have just rushed in through the door, and you hear what sounds like a man gurgling on his own blood, and you can see straight in front of you a man taking a nasty-looking axe to the chest.
Lovely. I decide to, do a little persuading here. I walk in slowly. I cast Thaumaturgy.
Okay.
Where is it? I decide to boom my voice to cause the flames to die down and have like my eyes like flare up. And as I'm walking in with this very, very scary visage, flee before me.
Okay. They all look at you with just dead expressions. They look like they're looking at you with hollowed eyes. It doesn't seem like they're comprehending what you're saying or even the fact that you look menacing as hell. You're not sure why that's the case. They just look like regular, like town folks, like men-at-arms kind of fellows, but they look like they're under some sort of... Make an Arcana check.
Okay, 1 second. Arcana. Yeah.
You're not terribly familiar with spellcraft at this moment. For some reason, you are just kind of in yourself. You're just confused why they're not afraid of you. Everyone else is kind of looking at you like, wow, it's pretty metal. But the others are like, these guard types are not really, their expressions have not changed.
All right.
Okay. The voice booms pretty loudly, and Strawn kind of comes up behind you and goes, "That was really loud." Just tries to whisper it over to you. You barely hear him. Okay. At this point, initiative.
And turn's done.
Yeah, that's why we're going to roll initiative.
All right. From a not 20 to a 7.
Nice. Okay, so Drung, you have the upper hand. This guy is still not dead.
He will be.
He will be.
I'm gonna rage.
Okay.
Frenzy rage. And swing again at him.
All right. Pockets, and to a lesser degree, Melik, you both are kind of hit with this splatter of blood. As the axe buries into the man's chest, you hear the sickening sound of like sinew and bone snapping on the other side of his flesh as his just chest cavity bursts like just an eruption of mangled mess. He falls to the ground, obliterated, and you said you were frenzying?
Yeah.
Okay. That means you can attack again, yeah?
No, because activating my rage is my bonus this round. It's the next round that kicks in.
Right. Gotcha. Okay. Well, the one that's kind of they're all kind of looking at you now. You are the focus of their attention. But again, like having seen a scene like that, a regular man would be confused, scared, possibly piss and shit himself. These guys don't seem to be bothered. Pockets.
Moving up, sort of like swaying my upper body, I come up and stab this one with Selena Stiletto.
That'll hit. And wound. Doesn't seem to drop him. But you do have sneak attack.
Yeah. Roll.
This is the one that you picked up off of Charioter, right?
Yes.
Okay. That'll do it. Right on the nose. Yeah, you stab him in the chest. It barely gets through his armor, but you hear him kind of, his lungs start to fill with blood as he falls to the ground. And again, the same sickening expression as he realizes he's dying. Kind of his face completely changes from no emotion whatsoever to, oh my God, this is really happening. All right. Strawn's going to back in, kind of keeping his back to Melik's back. It looks like he's kind of watching your guys' backs, not really jumping in the fray. All right. You hear a click, clack from the door to the southeast, and it opens. And there stands another one of these guys in black cloaks. He raises his hand and says some strange words. And upon doing so, the remaining 3 individuals kind of become, their crowns become illuminated with like a radiance. If you would like to, if you have religion trained, you can roll a religion check. But if you do not have it trained, or if you do not have Jack of all trades, don't even try me. So just the bard, really. So it sounds like he said a prayer to a strange foreign god. You're not sure exactly who. You just know that the actual like incantation or the prayer recited is a blessing. So he just blessed the other 3 guards.
All right.
All right. And now these super blessed guards are going to kill Drung.
Okay.
I hope. I mean, geez. All right. So they seem to be armed with spears, these ones. And they step in and start kind of lunging in at you. All right. First attack. I believe that'll hit.
Yep.
I'm going to set it to roll 2. So the next ones aren't goofy. Okay. So take your... Oh, why is it plussing?
Yeah, that's weird.
It should just be the first one.
So take 3.
5.
It's versatile. It's doing versatile.
Oh, gotcha. It's doing both rolls, but it's doing it as a plus. These were crafted by the person who wrote this module that I've converted, so I don't know why that should be just the D8. The second one.
The second damage.
Final answer. Yep. I'm gonna fix it real quick so I don't have that problem anymore. Bam. Test. With that second attack, this will be the second attack. So there, it's fixed, and yeah, that will hit. Again, rounding down, because resistance, and then the last attacker, that'll also hit. Pretty cool. I didn't even have to roll a blessing. That's awesome. And Mel, you're up.
All right. Let me walk into the room a little bit. Can I see the... let me walk here. It froze on me. There it is. Oh. All right. I'm going to cast Fairy Fire.
So it hits all of them.
Yeah. It was just too good to pass up.
So the guard on the far right side, the easternmost guard, he'll pass, and the acolyte will
Fail.
pass as well.
Oh.
Darn.
So the 2 here on the side will glow. What color is your fairy fire? You can have it be whatever color you want. Normally it's pink though, or purple. What color would you like it to be, Eli?
Let's make it pink.
I think it is. So the ones with the pink dot, those are the ones that are currently illuminated with an outline or aura that makes them very easy to see and hit. Okay. Anything else? Bonus action wise? Are you good?
Don't really have much of anything.
Okay. Very good. Drum, you're up.
2.
The one to the southwest of me.
All right. Smash. Yeah,
For
you hit him.
12.
And he dies. He dies horribly.
And then the one to the south.
Okay. You have advantage.
Oh, I have advantage.
Yep. So that'll hit and that'll kill.
Nice.
Butchering machine. Okay. Any movement or anything?
Yeah. I'll move up to right here.
Okay. You dance around the remaining guard and kind of get into position so that you threaten both, kind of holding the shield out towards the guard and the axe out towards the acolyte. Pockets.
All right, I move up, and first attack against the acolyte.
You roll over the guards' dead bodies and rush in to attack the acolyte. You hit. Sneak attack damage, please. And you bring the stiletto up and in, and right in between the pelvis and the rib cage. You got him. He falls to the ground.
And I actually won't waste action surge yet. I'll save it at that.
Sure. Okay. Strawn will come in. Kind of looks around, seeing the menacing, just malicious horribleness of it all. He'll go ahead and make an attack because I mean he's present, so he might as well. I had to refresh, so I lost his sheet. he is going to. I actually had him kitted differently. I thought he was a 2-dagger guy. Wrong guy. He draws out his light crossbow, and he'll go ahead and shoot it in that dude's face. And pay no attention to the words "fellowhood bandit." He it was copy pasta. It wasn't. He's a fellowhood bandit. Just get that out of your head. He falls to the ground as well. Real quick, just so I don't lose track of it. So far you've killed 4 acolytes and 6 guards. So that would be a total of 100 experience apiece.
Should we add it now, or do you do it at the end of the game?
Just add it now. I typically don't take a tally because I'm forgetful.
Okay, so far I would have 100 XP
over whatever your start was. Yeah.
All right.
Upon letting these people be released from their mortal selves, Pockets goes around and just picks the pockets and their crown.
So he starts to kind of rummage through them. I'll go ahead and just say that you start on 1. Chris, what's Drung doing while that's happening?
Is this door still unlocked?
Door's open. Yeah, okay. It's hanging open. You can see that there's another door on the other side that's been shut.
Okay. Can I walk up and check that door to see if it's locked?
Yeah, it sounds like there's someone on the other side as well. That's correct. The room that you are leaving kind of feels like a barracks, like some kind of like room where the warriors were kind of left to be, but it doesn't look like there were any like cots or anything for them. There were, however, a bunch of footlockers on the ground near where they were standing approximately. But yeah, you leave that room, head to that door. The door on the other side is locked, and similar in kind to the door that you just left. Eli, what is Mel doing while Pockets looks like he's scrounging through the bodies? There are a couple of footlockers on the ground against the walls, and there's another.
Footlocker's empty?
If you go over to one and kind of open it up, you'll see that it contains like coinage and clothing, and the clothing appears to be just common earth clothing. In the case of the one that you open, if you go through each one of those, you would see that the clothing kind of goes across the board as to like varying degrees of styling. There's one that looks like it might have been a noble of some sort. There's one that looks like it was an actual Hilton town guard, but no other gear besides their clothes. And in total, you would roll me 5d6, 8d10, and 5d20.
5d6 slash 8d10 slash r8d10. And what was the last one?
5d20. You managed to scrounge up from the drawers there and the pockets of the clothing 17 gold pieces, 36 silver pieces, and 34 copper pieces.
Sweet. And I also want to take, you said there was noble clothes, bard clothes, and commoner clothes?
Correct. Well, it would be noble, Hilton town guard, specifically the town that you're in's town guard's attire, and kind of like an entertainer's clothing, more like a jester.
Okay, so I shouldn't write down the gold or the clothes?
If you're taking it personally, you're taking it personally. If you're wanting to put it towards the party fund and split it at the end, that's between you guys. I
say we split the gold. I think that's just nice and fair, even though we're playing with a rogue and a DM rogue.
By the way, the sidekick rogue, when you guys start talking about cuts, he says, "I'm fine. I'll be okay." And he looks at Pockets and he says, "Don't forget your tithe."
Okay. Does anybody want the noble or entertainer outfit?
I could potentially make use of either one, but not quite any large preference for either.
All right. Put it in the group loot, and we'll divvy it up later.
So that'd be fine clothes and entertainer's clothes. Okay. And go ahead.
And you said, do the crowns that were on these guys' heads, do they easily come off now that they're dead?
They do, and they are wrought iron with kind of barbed thorns at their base. Kind of looks like they were actually set into the scalps along the side and in the temples. And as you kind of pull them away, they do kind of show signs of blood and wounding on the heads that they sat upon.
Okay, I take my rope and sort of loop it so all the crowns are together and it's kind of compacted somewhat to place in my bag. Also, hopefully the rope will act as some form of safe place to pick them up that isn't the barbed part.
Okay, and to be sure, they're not don't think of these as iron crowns that would fit on the head of Sauron or something. They're not thick iron. They're more like wire, like iron wire, or thinly pressed iron bar.
Okay.
So they don't weigh a ton or anything. Probably about 2 pounds apiece.
Okay.
Yeah. So you have 6 of these strange crowns. Okay, so Drung, you kind of move to the door, and it sounds like there's motion on the other side. It sounds like someone's fumbling for keys. And this again would be while they're kind of getting all their stuff together.
Okay, I'll if I hear the keys, I'm gonna ready an action. If he opens the door, just swing down.
It's not like he's going for your door. It sounds like he's on the other side of the room, on the other side.
Oh,
of the
okay. You said this door's locked? Can I
the door's locked. Do you want to try and force it?
Yeah, why not?
Make an athletics check.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, you bust open the door. There's a guy on the other side. He drops the set of keys in his hands, and he's looking at you. You can see that the kind of just burnished, kind of silvery iron locks of the other doors is different on this door that's in front of you. Looks like it's kind of a bronze kind of locking mechanism, which might have been some reason to why you're probably not paying attention to that. Do you want to butcher this guy?
Fuck yeah.
Go ahead and make an attack roll. I was like, who am I talking to? I just imagine his eyes glazing over. He's like, wait for it. Yeah, you run over and you murder him. He falls in a heap into the corner. His eyes kind of just rolling into the back of his head as he dies. He just dies.
All right, I'm gonna pick the keys up that he had and bring them back to Pockets.
Okay. Pockets, by the time the strangeness of the weird sound on the other side ends, you would see that he has another set of these weird keys. So upon inspecting the sets, of which you should have 3 now, it looks like it's a total of 5 keys. 4 of them are kind of like an iron, just polished iron kind of look, and then 1 is a bronze key. So, but they're all identical sets.
Okay. And what were the different metals again, real quick?
So there's 4 that appear to be just made out of iron that's been kind of polished to a nice finish. And then there is 1 bronze key. Each of the iron keys has a different marking on it. So far, you've seen and encountered 1 marking, which, if you look at it long enough, do you speak Elvish?
Probably not. Let me double check. No, I speak Common, Parnan, and Thieves' Cant.
Drung, you do not speak Elvish. You're kind of looking at these symbols strangely. Eli, does Melik speak Elvish?
Common, Infernal, Sylvan, and Primordial, but he has the ritual. He has the ritual comprehend languages. So if we want to spend 10 minutes, I can take care of it.
Sylvan's perfect. So they use the same alphabet, the Relenic alphabet. And when you look at the markings here, they're just numbers. So they'd be the same in Sylvan as they would be in Elvish. So it appears that these are the Relenic numerals for 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so far, the doors that you've entered in have had the Relenic symbol for 1. Make sense?
Yes.
Cool. So you have a couple of options. Exactly two. You can go through the door on the west wall, or you can go through the chamber to where the guy got butchered. That room looked like it was a cell area, by the way. And it actually had like a small cot kind of hanging from the wall. And it looks like where two people might be able to sleep comfortably.
Drunk think we go back to where Drunk killed man. Over here.
Well, let me just take a look at this door first.
What kind of markings on this door?
So this door has iron thing. It has the one that you would have been told if that information was granted to you of the third key, number 3.
But
I
even if I
basically
wasn't-
show pockets 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4.
And then bronze. Okay. So yeah, you're made aware of the Relenic numbers for 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Hey, I'm learning. So I take the appropriate numbered key and open the door.
Perfect. Sure enough, yeah, it pops open, no problem. You see a hall that goes and cuts to the left.
All right. I slowly approach the end of the hall, and like when I get to the corner, I try to just peer down the hallway. So like, oops, sorry. So I'm looking down, but trying to like, reaching over, so I'm having as low profile as possible.
What is that? What does that sound?
Masking tape.
Oh, okay. Well, I was trying to identify it. I was like, it's torture. It's torture. This door has a locking mechanism as well, but this one's different than all the ones you've seen so far. In that it looks like it is not polished or burnished iron. It is.
1 second, guys.
Yeah. Can you set yourself to mute or push to talk? I hate to be that guy. Okay. All right. So,
quick question: how do I do push to talk? What do I do?
okay. So in Discord,
Yes.
you go to see the little cog at the bottom there, user settings.
The cog.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you go to it says app settings. You'll click on voice, and in the middle there it should say input mode. You'll click push to talk, select your shortcut, and then select your push to talk release delay.
It says input device.
Input mode should be down just a little bit in the middle there.
Should be right about where you do voice detection. App settings, yeah. The cog, hit voice, and then you'll have input mode, or it'll say input device, output device, input volume, output volume, and right below that,
I think you might have got it.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds like you might have got it. That said, this one seems to have a strange lock on it. It's different than the ones that you've seen so far, and it doesn't have any symbols on it.
Okay. Does it look like I might be able to pick said lock with my thieves' tools?
Yes, that it does.
Wonderful. All right. That's not gonna give me. Where are they?
All right. Go ahead and you'll be making a effectively you'll be making a dexterity or intelligence check with proficiency. So choose like either sleight of hand if you have it trained. Do you have it trained?
Yes, I do.
And if you are you better with intelligence than dexterity?
No.
Okay. So go ahead and just make a sleight of hand check.
Dumb.
But what you're actually making is a dexterity check with proficiency. Okay, so you kind of wander on over to it and start unlocking it. You hear a sound on the opposite side of the door. It sounds like a chair being pushed against stone, and that's just about the time that you're basically clicking the mechanism open. So the door is technically open, but it's not ajar. So my question to you is, are you pushing it open to make it ajar, or are you waiting?
Or are you gonna let the barbarian bull rush in? Because that seems to be my forte.
Well, if I go now, I think I can get it open. If I wait for you, there'll be definitely a DC of some form with the brace. You know what? I like having a barbarian meat shield, so I say, Drung door now!
Oh, jeez. So I'm gonna round the corner here, John, and charge the door.
And
Okay.
I should sidestep out of the way as he comes.
Okay, we'll wait for just a moment until we get Eli back, and I'll ask him what he wants to do as that's engaging, or if he's just staying in the other room. Should be good.
My shoulder's gonna be buff as shit when I get done today.
Yeah, it's just like a bunch of pictures of doors, wood smash.
Wood doors.
Wood smash.
So you know how barbarians, like, their armor is from Dex and Constitution typically. Well, from smashing all these doors, he'd probably get some splinters in his skin. Does that mean he now has spiked armor?
Negative. All right. So just for speed's sake,
Mm-hmm.
because he's listed as mute, so I think he's still on with the tape. I'm going to move him to behind you guys, and I'll put Strawn in there with you guys as well. And the door slams open, and as a reaction to you busting it open, make a wisdom saving throw.
Somehow my character sheet got super small. You said wisdom?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not good.
Wisdom's bad.
Okay.
Why did my sheet get super?
The DC on that is incorrect. I don't know why it's listed as 10. It should actually be 2 plus 3 is 13. It should be 13. But regardless, you failed either way. Welcome to being locked in position. You are now stopped in the doorway. All right. At that point, you see that there's a cloaked figure on the opposite side of the door. Evil-looking dude, just like the lot of them. But this guy seems a bit older and a bit more haggard. And you can also see that there are strange cracks in his skin, all along and around his eyes and around his mouth. If you've seen the new Doctor Strange movie, kind of like those weird eyes that guy has, but
Yeah.
also on the mouth.
Ooh.
His skin is kind of like dried and broken apart. Okay. Initiative.
Now I can. Hold on. Just trying to read the spell. Can I try to break that on my turn?
Yeah, so at the end of each of your turns, you'll make a saving throw, and if you succeed, you can get out of it. Yeah.
So much for having good initiative rolls. Dang.
Hey, if he rolls a 1, we're good.
Nah.
You input that yourself. You.
No, I for most of my monsters, I preset what their initiative's going to be when I'm just working out what I'm going to do. So
I mean, it kind of makes it a lot easier on you. Not
My
having to
God,
make all
why
those
did I
rolls.
not think of that? John, you inspire me.
you're noob.
I know.
I'm gonna go ahead and put Eli on at 10 plus his dex. So I think 10.
Oh wow.
Let me double check. I think he might have higher actually.
I ain't scared.
So many sheets. So many sheets. Oh,
I'm just concerned about these coffin-looking things in this room.
sure, sure. They don't look like coffins. They look like desks.
Oh, okay. Well, on my screen, it's like
Scratch that. He's on a 12.
looks like a coffin.
Okay, so it looks like the top of the board is him.
Fuck.
He'll step forward. Because you are paralyzed, he has advantage for this attack.
Yeah, that sucks.
He's gonna be. He's still a bitch.
Cast Inflict Wounds
Ooh. Ouch.
at second level.
Still a
Ouch.
bitch.
So 17 hits or no?
17 does hit. It is on the nose.
Oh.
All right. I believe I just chatted you.
Yeah, and the greatest tradition of all.
You see his hand kind of pulse with black energy that causes the skin on his fingers to kind of peel back and away from his fingernails. It's a sickening sight as blood starts to kind of gout from it, but black energy does as well. He touches Drung. It cackles through his body and causes him to spasm. Oh. Yeah.
Sorry.
So then it would be, hold on. It would be an additional, it would double because it's a crit because you're paralyzed. So that would put
Why would
you,
it be?
because you're paralyzed. I'm basically performing a coup de grace with the attack. So it would be a total of 3d10 additional necrotic damage as base. And that would be 40, enough to put you to 0, not enough to kill you outright. Because you have
Right, but then I go straight to 1 because of.
You'll use, you're paralyzed. You can't take reactions. Does it say anything about using a reaction to do it or no?
No, it just says when you drop to 0 but not killed outright.
Okay. So instead, so you'll be at 1 hit point, but you're still paralyzed. Perfect. All right. Eli, if you're back, yes or no? You're still on mute if you are back and can hear me. Go ahead and give you a couple seconds here, just in hopes that you wander back on. All right. So I'll go ahead and perform your actions for you. Seeing the threat is pretty serious. And healing is probably required. Taking a look at your spells. You've cast 1 first level spell. I'll hold off. He's got a hit point. You can get him back up from knockdown easy enough. We'll just go ahead and mock this guy. All right. And playing with myself. Succeeds. All right. Strawn's going to kind of move in and land on Drone's position. He's going to make an attack with his short sword that he just drew. He's going to hit. And he will then back away from the cultist. Draw an attack of opportunity. Swings at a dagger. Misses. Goes wide. Pockets your table.
All right. Since it doesn't look like we can get past the door, I'll sort of pull the same move as
Yep.
Strong. Come up. Selena stiletto him.
Hit.
Do I get a sneak attack?
Yeah, Drunk's present. I should actually have gotten it too. Go ahead and click your sneak attack damage again.
And I'm going.
I'll just click it.
Oh.
Click it one more time for me. That'll be my rogue's sneak attack as well. Okay, more than enough. So you kind of come in with your weapon, stab him in the chest. He kind of falters back, slams on this desk, and kind of just lays slumped against it, dying.
All right. Does he have a chance to have like some last words?
Not at all. 150 experience though for a lot of you. For this guy and the last acolyte that was butchered.
Nice. I'll take one.
I'll notate it for you, Mel.
So I survey the room. What do I see?
There are 3 desks that have all sorts of kind of itemry all about them. It looks like an office. Hey, you there? Is that you, Eli? You there?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Hey.
You missed not much. I don't know if you heard it or not.
1 second. I have to unmute it, then press space to do it. As soon as I let go of space, it mutes again, and I have to actually click unmute and then press again. How did I
that's
turn this
weird.
off?
What? Let me look into this. Weird. Okay, in your push to talk bindings, okay, is spacebar the shortcut you have for the push to talk? Type it out. Okay. So next to that, there should be like a slider bar. It says push to talk release delay. Do you see that? Is that all the way to the left, or is it all the way to the right? Okay, so about 20 milliseconds there. Okay. Let's see. Keybinds. Go to, do you see where it says keybinds? Click on that, and there should only be one keybind currently listed. It should say push to talk and spacebar. If there's any other ones, you'll want to try and delete those. Okay. That's weird. Hold on a second. Try and set it to something besides spacebar. Let's see if that'll do it. Still no? Doesn't look like it's still working. Okay, go ahead and switch out from switch off of push to talk and just go back to regular, and we'll just go from that. If you are taping something or something crazy like that, just mute it before you go to do that. But set it back to just hands free.
Okay, how about now?
Good.
Yeah, my wife and daughter left, so there's no taping.
All right, cool. So the office desks. Real quick, did you miss everything or did you hear everything?
I heard there was a fight going on. You insulted someone for me, and we got 50 EXP.
150 total for the last acolyte that you killed, the one that Drung butchered on his own, and this guy. This guy was kind of a badass. He almost killed Drung in one shot.
Did you add that to me? Because I have 750 now.
Yep,
if you add it up, okay.
So basically, you guys stormed in, killed this guy. He looked like a cult leader or something like that, some kind of fanatic. And after killing him, there are 3 desks. It looks like they just have kind of baubles out on top. A couple of them, the one like in the middle back corner there, has a couple of tools. What one might be able to gather together as an alchemist tool set if you'd like. But other than that, it's just kind of paper scrolled out in Elvish that don't really seem to matter at all and look like they're just alchemist notes. Oh, and one last thing. It looks like there is a bit of some sort of kind of purplish like powder or like small crystals inside of a mortar and pestle that are kind of just lingering there, like residual.
Okay.
All right. So any questions about the room, anything you want to do with the room or the fanatic, starting with you, Eli?
All right, the Fennec's all dead?
Yeah, he's dead.
Okay, I guess I'll scour through the desks.
Okay. Go ahead and make an investigation check for me while that's happening. Chris, what would you like to do?
I think he's still taking in groceries.
Taking groceries. Okay, he'll go ahead and do that. He pulls out a big bag of groceries, starts to head to the van, head away from the van into the house. And then what would you do, Pockets?
I really like rifling through pockets.
Okay. So you'll search over the fanatic. Okay. With that investigation check, you don't seem to find much of anything. There's some more papers inside of cabinets and drawers therein. Nothing really important or necessary. On the dead body, you find a dagger. It's a nice looking dagger, kind of has like a curved edge to it. Looks like a pouch of some kind of reagents and a strange book that's kind of latched to his belt.
Book latched to belt. All right, I take all of it.
Okay. Upon kind of looking at the book cover, it has a strange marking on its front. It appears to be a book with a staff like set in between the pages.
Huh. I just sort of mentioned to my sort of like mutter under my breath how the wizard's name
Cardiff.
Cardiff. Oh, I wonder if Cardiff would want something to do with this. Better take it back to him.
Okay. Tossing out names that Mel doesn't know, but it is a strange book. Do you want to investigate that at all, Eli?
Sure, why not?
Okay. Go ahead and make me a religion check for the cover, and I'll tell you what the interior kind of outlines. So you're not sure about the holy symbol on the front, but you know it's a holy symbol. The interior kind of is just prayers and invocations that seem to keep referring to something or someone that you kind of get and gather that it's a female form, but her name is Lamac. Whatever they're praying
Our
to.
holy animal's a camel?
I like that you're cunning, and I love that you see things that are there. But damn you. It's the weakest kind of just do it backwards. No one will never know. Damn it. Anywho. He doesn't have any coin or anything else on him, just dagger, book. I guess you could take his robe if you'd like.
I leave his robe on him.
Okay. You guys want to go ahead and leave this place and go to the other door?
Well, I hold up I hold up the body and ask Strom, Strom, do you know if this is the leader of the Black Blooms?
No, that's not the leader of the Black Plumes is a Kenku.
Oh, right. Okay. Oh well, no hard feelings then. And I just let the body drop. And maybe we should collect some of these potions and whatnot to have identified at a later time. Or sell on the market. We might be able to fetch a decent penny for them, or might prove useful in later adventures.
Fair enough. He kind of is looking around and kind of heads out towards the other chamber. You're kind of moving around, Malik. Go ahead and make me one more investigation check. Okay. So as you're kind of passing back and forth and just, checking between the two rooms, you notice that this wall here is strange.
Okay.
This wall seems to be a bit off. And when you start to investigate it, you realize that the center point is kind of got a bevel to it. you're pretty certain that if you push on either side, it'll kind of turn the wall on its axis, on that bevel in the middle.
I motion to the group, hey, come over here.
Strawn stands behind you. I believe Drung comes back in with the groceries, blood just dripping down from his body, from all of the horrible necrotic energy that coursed through his body.
Did he get groceries, or did he like butcher the animal to get the groceries?
No, he in real life went to go get groceries, and when I asked him to do what he was doing and he wasn't there, I said a dumb thing. Anywho, he is actually really, really wounded, though. Like, real talk. He drinks a potion.
John, how many potions were there on the table?
Potions, none.
It was just like supplies.
Yeah.
Okay.
It looked like there was like empty kind of jars, or vials. I guess you could find like 3 empty vials if you want them.
Okay, cool. Why not? You never know what you might need to get filled with them.
Is there anything else on the tables you want to investigate before we move to the next bit? And
I just grabbed the alchemist supplies and the empty vials.
okay, cool. I put those on the list. Okay. Yeah, so there's a weird door. Do you guys want to try and move through it?
I gotta push on it so Drunk can enter first.
Okay. When you push on it, you can actually see on the other side. It looks like the chamber on the opposite end kind of leads to kind of like a turn or corner edge. But you would also notice that there's strange markings on the floor and the wall that look like they've been kind of etched on there with charcoal. If you'd like, you can make an Arcana check. You would realize that the markings therein are a ward or a rune. Typically, these types of spells are activated by some trigger. In this case, you can kind of detect the trigger. It would be presence, like anybody entering into this glyph or ward. And you actually realize that it is a version of the spell Glyph of Warding with explosive runes, and it would deal fire damage. Pretty high roll. Pretty cool.
I asked Drunk if he'd like to grab the body and throw it in first for us. I take a step back.
If Drung agrees to it. All right. Go ahead and make me an athletics check because you're trying to throw it like a whole body 10 feet. Just make an athletics check. All right, you manage. You throw the body into the room. It hits. Drunk, I just need you to make a dexterity saving throw for hilarity's sake, really. All right. So it hits the runes on the ground. The second it does, the entirety of all the runes on the walls, the ceiling, and the floor detonate, and this large just burst of flame kind of erupts in that space. It flings the body back out the way it came in, and it hits on the opposite side of the door because it's kind of turned sideways, and you're standing in one like access point of it, and it kind of misses you and goes into the other side, splatters against the wall behind you. There's a big, like, ash stain of the body where it hit with kind of a bit of blood smeared inside. Right. Sure. It's a Drung Pollock. There we go.
That's what I was about to say.
But it looks like whatever it was it detonated. If you want to move past and come to the other side, you will see that there is a chest at the end of the hall. You can go down there. It doesn't really show it, but whatever. There's a chest. It looks like it's locked. It looks like it's locked, and it looks like it has a number above it in Relenic.
Is it one of the numbers that I have?
It would be number 4. That's correct, yeah.
I use number 4 key on it.
Okay. You unlock it, and inside you see a heap of gold pieces, a single ruby sitting atop next to a vial with red liquid within. You see the markings that kind of notated as a healing potion, but the markings that you see are a bit more ancient and possibly more potent. And there's a longsword and a buckler, which counts as a shield.
Awesome.
All right. gather that stuff up. So again, buckler, ruby, and potion, and just this here. See that.
Can bards use shields?
I think only warrior bards. The
Valor.
Yeah, that one.
Yep. So not gonna take it.
I'll take it in case it's magical.
Yeah, both of you guys, Drung and Pockets, use shields if I remember correctly. So,
Can use it for sure.
for sure. Strawn doesn't care. Again, as long as it seems like what he's doing though is kind of keeping an eye on what you're picking up.
Yeah.
So noted. He's kind of like the accountant on this mission. Okay, let's go ahead and move along to the other door. So let's see, real quick. Bear with me here. Okay, cool. So you guys would go back to, just kind of circle back around to where Drunk killed that one guy.
You have to be a little more specific.
You're going the right way. But I get what I see what you did. He is kind of a murder machine. This door. This one has the bronze lock to it.
It's not letting me go.
I think.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, you were kind of tucked. But yeah, if you use the bronze door, you'll open this one. But upon doing so, it unlocks, and also it seems to unlock and open. Like they work in tandem. When you open one, the other one opens as well. The door beyond. All right. A very strange mechanism to be sure. When you enter into this room, you see that the walls kind of have a bunch of hooks. There's one hook that has a single black robe hanging from it. It looks like there's enough in here to put enough cloaks for the people that you've murdered, and maybe a handful more. And in the center, there is a kind of a shelf kind of out from the wall with a candle set atop it, and behind the candle is a statue of a woman with her hands outstretched forward over the flame of the candle, holding a book, and in the center of the book, kind of laying across it, is a staff.
Huh, this looks familiar. It's the candle.
It's Candle. Never. So another fun fact. So there's another deity in my campaign setting that's kind of like an obscure one, and his name is Onayo Nomen. I'm going to type that out for you, and you tell me what you see.
The Onion Man?
Onion Omen. Onion Men. Yeah.
What's his name from Game of Thrones?
The Onion Knight. Sure. Davos. Anywho. Enough making fun of me. There's one cloak remaining. There's a door to the left side. It seems that the entirety of the door is covered with black markings, similar to the markings in that secret chamber. And
explosive markings?
Uh-huh.
Well, we have plenty of bodies.
Hey, whatever works.
This one, upon detection, just because you're familiar with the glyph of warding specifically from the last time, this one's trigger is different. This one's trigger appears to be something different. It doesn't appear to be if body hits door, explode. It seems to be more nuanced. You think it has something to do with the door being opened or moving past the door.
Can I figure out what it is?
Yeah, you know exactly what it is. If the door is opened, it seems that it will trigger, but it doesn't trigger on this side. It triggers on the other side.
So if you open the door, it blows up the other side of the door.
Correct. It opens, and it opens inward. So you'd be pushing the door into the explosion.
Okay. How mean should I be?
To me, or
No, I'm gonna tell Drunk, hey, don't worry about it. The trigger's something completely entirely. Go and open the door.
That's a bad way to make friends, but
Well, wait. Before you do that, perhaps to maybe get the element of surprise, we should collect some cloaks and put them on, so maybe they think we are allies when we meet the next group.
That seems like a really good idea.
Okay. So most of the other cloaks, except for the one hanging on the wall, are covered in blood or have bits of cultists on them. So you have one robe. Just the one.
Okay, Drunk, that's probably for the best as well. Go ahead and you can be our escort.
Okay. So are you guys going up or down? The door on the north side is the one with the explosive runes. The door on the south side does not have the explosive runes.
Let's go south. We can check. Keep that for later.
This one does have a key. This one has the bronze key.
Real quick, the statue. Did that look like removable or anything, or the book removable, or is it just
The statue could be picked up and put into a bag if you so pleased. It's not very large, and the candle's also removable. And upon removing the statue, you realize that the candle is not emitting any heat.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I'll pocket that stuff.
Okay, so a very keen-eyed observer and arcanist amongst you, without rolling anything, you would know that the candle is a ever-burning candle. So the heat, the light source from it, it's always present. It's dim light, 10 regular light. You could attach it to a helmet or put it in a belt, and you'd have a little bit of light going your way.
In a different campaign, I cast that spell on my brother's cloak, and he's playing like a fire-based paladin. He put it on. It was amazing.
Epic. Bernie McBurnerton. Okay, so if we're going south, the south passageway leads down to another set of steps, and it looks like it angles off to the left.
I sneakily head down the hallway.
Okay. You would come around the corner all the way to the other side. Go ahead and wrap around. You would see that there are markings right in front of the door, just like the last ones.
Explosive-y markings?
They look like they're explosive. The two differences are, one, the explosion isn't going to create a fire explosion. It's going to create a cold explosion. And the trigger is the same as the first one, not the door one.
Drung, you want to go grab a body?
As you say that, Strong kind of like comes around the corner, and it looks like he's dragging a body already. And he says, "I thought you guys might need this."
Good thinking, Strong.
Hands it over to Drung. Drung, make an athletics check. All right, you throw it. It lobs. It hits a little short.
I go back, pull it back, and give it to him again. Try again, buddy.
All right.
Is there any way I can help him with my athletics as well?
Real quick, yes, but he throws it again. It hits the ground as you're, let me hope. And you also notice that you're making a loud ruckus as you toss a body onto the stone floor. Whatever's on the other side of that door is probably well aware of your presence. Just a heads up. If you're going to assist him, Drung, go ahead and make one more athletics check. You have advantage for this one. Yeah. Throw it. It detonates. It explodes. The whole chamber in that portion fills with ice, becomes kind of slick. And right at that moment, go ahead and put yourselves where you would be in the tossing section.
Oh, I'm back here.
I'm far away from that bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I guess if I'm helping, like...
That's where the body would have hit. So back... Let's go ahead and back up one square, everybody.
Yeah, I'd probably be right behind Drung, helping him throw it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm the brains in this operation. I don't go anywhere near the physical labor.
So that's where the explosion hit. And just as that's happening, the door on the north wall flings open, and you see two individuals kind of looking out, and one kind of raising his hand up into the air, and holding what looks like a scroll in his hand. And he will cast a spell.
Oh, how convenient.
Oh God, no. I'm not that mean. That would just be nuts. That'd be a party wipe, like right there is what that would be. All right, yeah, let's go harder than what I was saying. Yeah. You're something.
Hey man, if I can pass my saving throw, I'll take no damage with Shield Master.
Okay, so he's casting it from a scroll, so I'm gonna have him make a check. He's casting it religiously. Okay. And he fails by a lot, so yeah. He dies. He dies horribly as black energy courses through his eyes, and he starts to kind of like say the chant, and his voice starts to double in his throat, and he just falls to the ground, just dead. The guy next to him appears to be a guy with an iron crown on his head, and he kind of looks down at the guy as he does that. His face kind of emotionless and stoic, and then his eyes kind of widen, and he freaks out and drops his weapon. It's Leviosa, not Leviosa. All right.
Where's the leader of the Black Plumes?
Every one of you make a perception check, please.
Quick.
Okay. Perfect.
I am not doing so well today.
Yep, that guy falls to the ground dead. The guy standing over him just looks at him, drops his weapon, and it looks like he's horrified. Like he just became aware of where he was and what's happening. All right. So you said, where's blah, blah. He says, what? Who are you? What happened to this guy? And he's looking at the dead guy.
Pockets just laughs as magic gone wrong.
You can see beyond him that there seems to be some sort of pedestal or like kind of just stone sitting in the center of the room that has like a swirling bluish energy kind of raised up above it and kind of swirling into a moat centered above that stone.
The blue energy is swirling up into a moat.
Yeah, it's kind of swirling up off of the stone into this moat that's kind of floating above the stone.
Melik, you seem to be magically inclined.
Oh, okay.
Would you mind investigating yonder magical-looking device?
Yeah, I might want to get a little bit closer. You want to let me through?
Yeah, sure.
All right. As you kind of approach it, I need you to make me either your choice of Arcana or Religion. This is basically just going to determine how you're investigating it. So if you want to,
I'm equally proficient in both of them. Can I do both?
well, they're going to relay different information, is what I mean to say. So the question.
Can I check with both?
Well, again, which one would you lead with? Do you want to understand the magical nature of it, or do you want to understand like the religious implications of it?
The magical nature first.
Okay, Arcana. All right. So the centerpiece, this mode of energy, appears to be a kind of like a tether. It appears that it's a center point, a moat or piece of the positive energy plane. So you would know that the positive energy plane is kind of where souls are created, like the stuff of souls are created. Life is kind of generated from that place. And it appears that whatever this is, it's kind of acting as a magnet for this blue swirling energy, which with that Arcana check, you're pretty sure is souls.
Oh. Does it seem to be pulling souls to it or pushing souls away?
Pulling souls to it. And as you kind of inspect it and look at the stone like tablet beneath it, the stone tablet appears to be kind of like a gravestone with etchings on it, which you assume is the epitaph of that person. Epithet. Wow, my brain. there are a couple of vials sitting out on that as well. When you start to think about the religious implications present, and you look at the pillars off to the side, kind of set in this room, and also covered with strange markings, you realize that whoever was here was basically taking souls and connecting them to this moat by killing someone present and having them kind of die near this, and using those souls to create a substance known as liquid pain, which when manufactured is like a purplish kind of liquid, which is actually distilled pain from a person or the soul of a thing. And it can be kind of refined into powdered form, kind of a purplish colored powder. Has a high street value. That would be the arcana part mixing with the religious part. The religious implications are they're trapping souls to create this
Drug.
Yes.
Oh wait, this is the really bad drug.
A really bad drug. It's known as liquid pain.
Oh,
I
so-
relay the information to the group. Yeah, this is some nasty, nasty stuff.
All right. Drung, since you're kind of staying back, I need you to do me a favor and just last chance. Make me a perception check. All right, perfect. Okay. You kind of investigate these, the nature of this room. It does look like in these weird statues, which are kind of, they have shelves underneath. The statues are of that woman again, but underneath there's a number of vials that these ones are actually full, and it looks like one of the shelves actually has a box set with about 10 of these vials in place, and it has a marking on the side. It says, in common, to the flesh thief.
Okay, who is this flesh thief dude?
So if they're willing to relay that information, they can. Drung, do you want to go ahead and give it a shot, or Pockets?
Well, you see, he was of a very undesirable character who dealt in all sorts of nasty business, such as child prostitution and mutilation, and I've done some work, if I may humbly submit, to help take down his operation of operatives. I don't know quite if I've been able.
Real quick, I haven't actually gotten to take out the flesh thief yet, right? Like he's still at large. He's just been
Yeah, actually,
completely disrupted.
real quick, you said he was, and after you say that, you hear the floor kind of shake a bit, and you say was kind of just echo across the chamber. As that happens, everybody's attention kind of draws to the weird moat, and you see like a black hand appear from nothing and grab the moat. All of the souls suck right into the moat, and as it manifests, you see a form appear before you of an old man with robes kind of bound over him. In the center of his chest, which is displayed to you, he has no shirt or covering over his chest, is a large gemstone that's been embedded into his body. Much like the acolyte from before, that you saw the crusting and cracking of his eyes, this skin around the gemstone bears a very similar resemblance. He grabs the moat and holds it, but you can see that his lower portion, his lower half, is actually not corporeal. It seems that he's standing in the headstone. He is actually like half physical and half ethereal. And he holds the moat, and he says to you, "You've yet to kill me, but you will not take what is mine." And as he holds it and kind of brings it close to his chest, it sucks into the stone at his chest, and then he vanishes.
Wow.
Well, you've met him now. He's quite the nasty folk.
It's like you summoned him with your voice. Make an insight check though, Pockets, and also anybody else who wants to actually.
All right. What do I need to roll?
Insight. Oh yeah, you definitely don't get anything. No, yeah. The two of you, I mean, you would know that he wasn't actually there. It doesn't seem like that was a physical representation, just possibly some sort of spell effect that allowed him to draw that moat back to wherever he's located. But you would also know that there'd be no reason for him to know or understand why or that you're present and dealing with this unless someone tipped him off.
Mm-hmm.
You're not sure who, but you're pretty sure that everybody you've seen so far in this place, you've butchered. Oh, except for this guard guy who's still kind of just panicking and freaking out.
Right. The only person we missed was the Kenko.
Yeah, you have not seen the Kenku.
Now, real quick, does this voice sound familiar as the same voice that was telling Mylan Lamont, like, you better succeed?
Yep.
Okay.
And I'll be posting a picture of him up on the Facebook so you can see him.
Nice.
But yeah, you have seen his face. You've seen his personage. He is a very old, just decrepit-looking old man who kind of just reached out, grabbed the moat, and vanished with it.
So what looks so now that happened, what looks like a good thing to destroy and what looks a good thing to pillage for loot?
So if you're in the more, like, if you're a more noble individual and you do not want people to get a hold of those drugs, which you know are bad,
Yes.
I would say just start throwing those against the wall, breaking them, destroying them.
Okay.
That would be, unless you want to try and sell them.
No. Yeah, I'm definitely here to get rid of them.
You would know the market value. But when you start breaking them, you can see that Strawn's kind of looking on with approval. He definitely seems to be kind of nodding his head to you to that. And he says to you, this place seems like a manufacturing place, but this can't be all that they've stored. From what I've been hearing of their trafficking, they must have more than this. There has to be a place where they're storing it. And he kind of looks around. You did good on this one. Patrick will hear of this, for sure.
Who?
Thanks, Strobe.
Patrick. And he kind of looks to you and he says, oh, apologies. If I remember correctly, you're new to town. You can play at the Stumbling Delver. I'll make sure that I organize a meeting for you and Patrick Mardigan. And you recognize the name Mardigan because you've heard a little bit about them probably on the streets. They're a thieves guild that go. It's kind of like a mafia family. The last name being Mardigan, his name being Patrick, and he's also known as Mad Pat or Mad Mardigan. Yeah, I am.
Whoa.
Camel gods and crazy freaking Val Kilmers. Believe it. So for defeating those two last guys, you guys would each gain. The Acolyte was pretty quickly destroyed because of that botch. I'm sad about that. I rolled really bad on that one. I only needed to roll an 11, and he had a +3. That's so bad. But anywho, you still get experience from having him kill himself. You have the guard, and I'll make up a name for him too in the write-off. Or if you want to, whoever wants to finish a write-off, you can feel free to do so. Experience, and then also for dealing with that, 225 experience for the last bit.
Ooh, a level.
Yeah. If you go back to the explosive door, yeah, let me go ahead and just, I'll run you through that real quick. You guys find a way to kind of get around it. That 225 included the final trap, just rounded off the last bit. But the final room, the receiving room, which is connected to the hallway that you guys didn't go down. You remember that hallway?
Oh, that original first room?
Yeah, remember when you first came in, there was two options, and you went south instead of east?
Right, yes.
If you would have went east, and you guys will locate that here too, the eastmost direction comes to a sorting station where it looks like they had scales of justice hanging from a statue. which basically allowed them to kind of sort weights. And it looks like there were several of those pillars, just like the pillars in this chamber. The storing and sorting station seemed to be kind of like a preservation chamber for the drug, but they don't have any of it stored there. So basically, if someone was coming to buy pockets, you kind of presume that this would be where they'd meet with the buyer, and this is where they would sell it. Or if someone was coming to pick up, this is where they would come to pick it up. And then the room that's adjacent to that, so here, hold on. There, I blew out the walls there. A hallway that leads up to that receiving room. And the receiving room is where the guards and acolytes kind of would stay if they're waiting for people to come in. So, or if they're inviting someone in beyond that point, kind of like a staging area. There are a couple of like duvets and pillows and cushions therein. So it looks like a kind of nice area. There's also another altar to that woman, Lamac. And it looks like there's a offering tray that's empty.
Interesting.
The tray itself is made out of silver, though, and it's probably worth about 10 gold pieces.
Yeah, I take it.
Yeah, of course you take the plate.
I'm taking everything worth any kind of monetary value.
Yeah.
And then anything that looks like related to the thing, like I went back to that other room where we saw the purple powder. I threw that against the wall. Like I'm trying to destroy every trace of the drug.
Okay. Well, the mortar and pestle would have been taken in the alchemist set that was acquired and added to the loot for the group.
I would have dumped it out.
I will note too, if you guys want, go ahead and divvy out your coin and such. Make sure that whatever wealth that you acquire, pockets 10% of that is going to the Mardigan family. So just go ahead and scratch that out based on yourself. But the sword and the buckler, if a more keen-eyed observer kind of pays attention to them, that would be presumably Melik. You would note that these are actually magical items. Yeah, the longsword and the buckler are both magic. You can, if you have identify, you can do so. Just so you know, identify in my campaign setting or in the West Marches game, it costs 100 gold piece pearl per casting, even though normally you just have to have a 100 gold piece pearl just to do it, and it counts as a focus. For my setting in this format, it's 100 gold pieces per identify. Or you can just go to the Big Bang pub, and the bartender there, Physics, he can identify items for you for 100 gold piece charge.
Can you do the long rest identify, the short rest identify?
So you can, with that, all you can do with that is Arcana check and see if it's magical, and that's basically what I've given you.
Okay.
So let me give you the tiers, how it works. If you make an Arcana check during like a short rest, you can identify whether it's magical or not, and to a limited degree kind of get its properties and understand them if you're attuning to it. So like with a longsword, you can kind of figure it out, but with identify, you determine whether the item is cursed or blessed, and cursings and blessings are like hidden magic traits that are different than just normal magic nature. So let's say that's sword, right? Let's say it's like a +1 longsword, and you take it and you start wielding it that way. I would tell you that it's a +1 longsword. But if it's also a +1 longsword, Sword of Vengeance, for example, you would not know that it's cursed unless you had it identified.
Okay.
And then there are blessings as well. There's a sword that Chad's character has. It's called Lumiere. It's a longsword with a candlestick hilt, and it's a +1 longsword, right? But once he had it identified, he learned that it has a blessing that says he can cast light on the weapon, which basically ignites the candelabra of the hilt. And it also has the ability to, once per day or once per short rest, he can make an attack and change all damage dealt with it to fire instead.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, so like there's some blessings on weapons. There are certainly curses on weapons. And yeah, if you want to be safe, you'd pay the 100. If you just want to have it to wield it, you can just take it.
Yeah, I can't really use a longsword or a buckler anyway, so.
Fair. Who wanted the buckler?
I do.
Okay.
We rolled for it.
I see that. All right, and then the longsword. Do you want to honestly like?
I take that one.
Huh?
I can use a longsword.
Yes. Rapier, longsword. Yeah, most martial swords, I believe, bards can use. So longsword for you. Okay. There was a potion of healing, but it was not just a potion of healing. A simple taste test of that would tell you that is a potion of superior healing.
Whoa. Give it a drunk. This is my vote.
If you are not familiar with the nature of that, I believe it's a second tiered one or the third tiered one. I think it's 64 plus 6 or something like that. It's a lot of healing out of one potion. Okay, that went to you. The longsword is it doesn't have a +1 trait, so it's not adding anything. The non-magical or the non-curse, non-blessing statement would be it's a vicious longsword. So if you crit with it, it does 7 extra damage.
Nice.
But you're pretty sure there's something more to it besides.
Oh, what was the deal with that curved dagger?
Oh, it's just a dagger.
Okay.
It's technically a sacrificing dagger, so you can slash instead of pierce if you'd like.
So, Christy Chris?
Yeah, kind of like a Chris.
I'm creating a dagger collection.
Fair enough.
As you should.
I mean, you're a rogue, yeah. But yeah, you're certain there's something probably more to it. And then coin-wise, did you guys split out your allotment?
Not yet.
Okay. Once you get that figured out, do not forget, Tim. Do not forget, you have to tithe, or they will be not friendly with you.
Right.
And
So that's
how it works from
only
here.
that's only 10% of the coinage I earn.
10% of wealth you acquire, so that would
Okay.
include the buckler.
Okay, and how do I determine the wealth of
that?
that?
So for the guild, you would know, and for most guilds, it would work this way. Any magic item that's not named, so any magic item you pick up that's not like some kind of something someone can recognize, 500 gold pieces.
Oh boy. Okay.
10% of which would be 50.
Okay.
Hey,
And what happens if I don't actually have the funds required on my person, but empty my pocket?
I mean, if they know you aren't good for it, then they'll ask you to do a job for them, and that could lead into another story quest. So, yeah, if you want to write that into a plot, I mean, do it. I mean, I'm down.
Okay, cool.
And Eli, just to give you an idea of how this works from here on out, because again, there probably has been a whole bunch of things that have been dropping down, and I'm sure that you've been certainly confused. Apologies, but the format is as follows. If you are saying to yourself, man, I want to play some D&D, and this is the night I want to play D&D, and here's what I want my character to do, you'll just write out a blurb of information that, like the ones you've been saying, and just say to yourself, this is what my character is doing, and if you make something up entirely and throw it out there, great. If you take some of the information that we've kind of laid out to you, not much came up today because it's kind of a closer, but there's still that Kenku that's missing. So that could be something you could be seeking into. Or if you see somebody's information that they're posting and you want to kind of like, bandwagon off of that, or again, make up your own thing, perfectly fine. Like if you said to yourself, I want to go fight bandits, and I don't know if there's any bandits in town, so I'm just going to make up a story of how I know about these bandits, and I'd write this plot, and I look at it and I go, okay, great. Do you have a party? You say, hey, who wants to play on this day specifically? And then if you get a party, I will go, okay, well, I got a lot of time to look ahead. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and make a story real quick and have it and run for you. Or if you make up something that looks like something I already have module wise, I'll convert it and make it fit to what you've got. And then we'll kind of continue, and you'll see that it'll be that back and forth where I'm going to say things like the flesh thief, or like I'll say things like, this character you've met in the past, or, this family you've met in the past. You'll start to become more immersed as you go on more quests, obviously.
Okay, so let me just run this by you to make sure I got it. Let's say Drung, for some reason, really wants to go butcher some people's, takes people's heads off, and he finds out there's slavers nearby. And because he was a slave when he was younger, he really hates slavers. He's going to say, Drung was like hearing whispers about people trying to being sold, and he's like, oh no, I'm not going to stand for this, and I'm going to go attack these slavers. And then this post about him taking on slavers, I could jump on the slave quest.
Yeah, exactly. If you're like, oh, he wants to run this day, and you go, yeah, man, I'm on board. And then if you want, you can write a little blurb about your character and how he kind of entertains that. Or if you talk behind the scenes with Stoner and say, hey, man, I want in on that. I don't have much time to write much, but could you go ahead and put me in on that? He could write for you as your character, which you've seen a couple of people do probably, and say, I go up and I speak to Malek and I'm like, hey, we went on that quest. We dealt with those drug dealers. This is some serious business I want to go handle. And you'd be right in on it. And then again, you could be the party starter if you want. Technically, Chris was the party starter on this one. He tried to do it on Sunday, but it didn't work out. Yeah. And then we were supposed to run a different game today, but we've been running games for like the higher end people for some time. Chris is behind the level. And you, of course, just started. I think you're third level now, right?
I just hit third level.
Yeah.
I'm the lore bard.
Good deal. Good choice. But yeah, exactly. So if you want to start it, you want to start the chain, certainly can. If you want to be the party organizer, great. If you want to just be a bandwagoner, also fine. Just so long as you make your availability known, typically through the doodle poll or just post on the forum when you see somebody say, they posted a post, and at the bottom they typically write looking for group.
Okay. Quick question. What's in this town that I could like base my stories off of?
Sure. So there's a short description of the town in the forums for this game specifically. I'm going to link you to that through Discord. Hold on.
Okay.
I'm going to try to. Copy pasta is hard. So that should have a short description of the town as it's known. Now, I haven't updated it in a while. The one main change is it should say that the Lord of Haverhill is one Anton Haverhill. That is incorrect. Anton Haverhill was assassinated. The current Lord of the town is Ian Haverhill, his son, who's about 14 or 15 years old. And yeah, his sister Elsa and the advisor Rhea have left. So it's just Ian kind of ruling up in the keep at current. But everything else is pretty much the same. And I'll probably post a map of that, of the town as well, just because I had it up there for a while in an earlier kind of section. There was a part where I was running like a festival called the Shackling, and it was kind of cool. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I think it was right about when you were coming in. But yeah, it was a pretty in-depth kind of plot line that ended with the assassination of Anton. So it was fun. I had fun with it. Anywho, I'm gonna go ahead and kill that. Okay.
Oh, and how much would I be able to get for those statues of Lamech, or are they kind of worthless?
Who are you trying to sell them to?
I don't know. I would just sort of ask around in town, or like I would just try to see, does anyone like religious finery, or did I maybe take it to a blacksmith to have them melted down if it looks like the metal's at all valuable?
It's iron. It's basically, if they melt it down, it's just slag.
Okay, it's worthless then. Forget it. I wouldn't take
if you're doing that. And sure, if you want to just keep one, just so you have it, that's fine.
I'll take one as my trophy.
It might be something you want to bring in front of like a religious portion of the party or an arcanist, if you can get in contact with one. But again, most of the party is, as of the 28th, I think, have left town. So it's adventure-wise kind of a quiet. Most of the forest camp people are still around, if we can get them to reply to posts or anything. But yeah, good deal. All right, any questions for me before I run?
I think that's everything.
And how'd you like it?
It's fun. I basically have to decide between if I'm going to play these games or my regular AL game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, again, like this one, if you want to play the AL game besides, I mean, there's no mandatoriness to this. If you want to play and there's a game.
That's one of the reasons I like it.
It's the best. And yeah, I mean, you did good tonight. If you run a game and I, play with you and you seem like a decent DM, you might be running games yourself. So I'm definitely on the prowl for more DMs. It's just me and Jason kind of right now. But yeah, again, I don't want to hand it to just anybody, if you get my meaning.
Fair enough.
All right, killing the stream. I'm going to sleep. I'll catch you guys later.
Sure, thanks for running.
No problem. Deuces.
So, Eli, do you have any questions? Like, would your character have